Hi everybody, I'm Kaveri. I'm a third year medical student in BGS Global Institute of Medical Sciences, Bangalore. In this video, I'll be talking about all the strategies that I followed to get a distinction in second year MBBS exams. I know that one needs to put in a lot of hard work in MBBS, but if this hard work isn't accompanied with any smart work, it is of no use at all. I would rather say if you do not put in a lot of smart work along with the hard work that you're already putting, it's of no use. And for me personally, once I realized this, there was no looking back at all. Without beating around the bush, I'll come straight to the point. I believe there are three strategies that anyone can follow to score better in any subject or in any exam for that matter. They are the individual strategy, the mark distribution, and the chapter outline. Coming to the individual strategy, every individual is different, and so is the difficulty level of each topic or each subject. Now, coming to my example, for me in pharmacology, I found ANS, CNS, and CVS hard. And these three are generally the harder topics for anyone who is reading pharmacology. So my first strategy was how I'll tackle these subjects. If you have already heard to class, you can make a list of the topics that are harder for you and easier for you. Or if you haven't heard to class, you can always ask your seniors and friends for the harder topics and find a way to tackle those harder topics. So once I realized my harder topics in pharmacology, my strategy was to choose a suitable book. Initially, I knew that one needs to have a proper base in ANS to get a proper hold in CNS and CVS. I started with Tripathi like most of you all, but once I finished reading ANS from Tripathi, I just realized that it was so hard for me to recall and to make a difference between sympathomimetics, parasympathomimetics, alpha-adrenergic, beta blockers, everything. So I switched to Schanbach. Schanbach on the other hand has given ANS so beautifully. There are so many line diagrams which shows the receptors, and once a person reads this ANS part from Schanbach, they'll have a pictorial memory of ANS and it will be so much easier for them. And with this base, now my next strategy was how will I read CNS and CVS. I read CVS from Schanbach and I did not find any need to read from any other book. That's why I just stuck to Schanbach. Now coming to central nervous system, I just found the need to read from Tripathi again because I did not get a proper continuity between the topics and concepts. In the same way, you can always apply this for any subject. You have to always make a list of those topics which are harder for you and find a way to tackle those. Or I would rather tell that once you know what are your easier subjects, try finishing it first. So you'll have a proper grip on them and you'll be very sure of scoring good marks in those topics. And then focus on the harder topics and try to finish as much as you can in those topics. And if your professor has explained very well from any complex book, 3/4 of your work is already done. You will not have to dig in those bigger books. You can easily revise with smaller books for your final exams because your concepts will already be very clear. Now coming to the second part, it is the mark distribution. I know almost 50% of the students study according to mark distribution, and for board exams it is a must. Now Singhi Yatiraj gives Singhi Companion, and in that book you have mark distribution for different topics in each subject. But the thing is, you cannot follow it blindly, and I'll tell you why. For our batch, we finished our second year exams, and we, Singhi Yatiraj tells that toxicology is for 20 marks. That is, the 20% of the paper consists of toxicology questions. But we had toxicology for like 40 marks. So one cannot, blindly believe this book. So what to do? You need to take 5 years question paper and just try to read all the questions. And this will give you a fair idea about which topics the examiners are stressing on. And you can easily study those first. I always believe checking previous year question papers and building in a strategy is even more better than you blindly following a given set of mark distribution. The third and the most important step is to follow the chapter outline. Now you might be wondering what I'm talking about. Yes, it is the chapter outline. Now, in the beginning of each chapter, there is a small box given which contains the headings and the subheadings of all the topics that will be explained in the chapter. Now, what do all of us do? We usually skip it and just start reading from the first line of the chapter. And just imagine we finish reading the entire chapter. What happens is that we will not be able to find a continuity between the concepts, or will not be able to effectively recall what we have studied. Let's take an example. In pharma, for a question about drugs, we usually have a strategy or an outline, right? We usually write the class it belongs to, the mechanism of action, the uses, the pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics, and adverse effects. So once we know these outlines, we can easily fill in the details because we have read it. In the same way, when you know the outline of the chapter, if you know the headings and subheadings, you can easily try to recall what you have studied under those headings and try to fill it. So you will not go blank anywhere, even while writing exam or explaining to someone or during Viva, because you know the continuity of the concepts that are there in the chapter. And this is not from my pocket, guys. One of my professor told about this in my class and I started to follow it since then. And it has helped me tremendously in remembering the entire chapter as a whole. And I think it will do to you also if you start following it. Now I'll talk about second year. We RS3 students had exams for 1400 marks. In RGUHS University, these marks are accordingly divided into internals and exams, practicals and Viva, and it is the same in so many other universities also. And I studied in RGUHS University, so we had 3 internals and best of 2 was considered. In other universities also you have so many internals and best of some of those internals will be usually considered. So my focus from the beginning was to do well in the first 2 internals, because I knew that by the third internals I would be saturated, or I would rather give that time for preparing for board exams than for internals. So always I focused on first 2 internals. And if you haven't done well in first or second internals, it is okay, because you always have third internals for your rescue. So I'll give you an example. Let's take an example between student A and B. Now imagine A has performed extremely well in internals and okayish in final exams. On the other hand, B has performed okayish or below okayish in internals and extremely well in finals. Now who do you think has a better chance of scoring marks? It is actually A. And this I'm telling from my own experience. So performing well in internals is absolutely necessary. And to get a distinction, you have to give your 100% in internals, exams, practicals and Viva. And one more thing is that all our juniors are RS4 and I think the mark distribution for them is slightly different. But even then they have to give their 100% in all these categories to get a distinction or to score very good marks in the finals as a whole. Now coming to individual subjects, I'll come to pharmacology first. One needs to have a very good base with pharmacology and pathology to do extremely well in even other subjects in your higher profs. So always concentrate on building your base properly in these 2 subjects rather than scoring a distinction. And once your concepts are crystal clear in these 2 subjects, distinction will eventually follow you. Now I studied pharmacology from Tripathi, and I think Tripathi is like the standard book in India and most of the students study from Tripathi. But in some of the chapters like diuretics for example, it is a lot in Tripathi and it is such a simple topic actually, but from receptor level they have explained it in a very complex manner and one tends to get confused easily. So for revision purposes, I switched to Shanbag, and Shanbag is equally good or more than good for that matter because they have simplified the concepts very beautifully. And before exams, I always studied from Shanbag. I studied like the entire book, and one has enough time, like that 1 month time is enough for one to revise 4 to 5 times from Shanbag easily. And always I knew that I was bad at remembering drug names from the beginning. So I did not stress upon it from the beginning. I knew I would eventually pick it up. And during study holidays, you can actually see important classification of 1 or 2 chapters or 3 or 4 chapters and always discuss it with your friends. When you discuss, even though you have not revised these classifications before day of exam, you will easily remember it because you've discussed with your friends and that voice memory will be there and it will actually help you a lot. Now, once you have read properly for exams, most of your work for practicals will be automatically done and you will not want to stress on it again. And for Viva, they'll mostly focus on classification and important side effects and the one-liner questions, and they'll give you a random drug and ask you to identify the class it belongs to or what type of disease it is used to treat. And if any of the pharma concepts is harder for you from Tripathi, always switch to the smaller book and try to understand it or discuss with your friends because it will help you on the long run. Now coming to pathology, as I told you earlier, one's base in the subject should be very strong. So focus on building your base first. I used Harsh Mohan to study pathology and I've read the entire book. I'll tell you why I did not read from Robbins. The first chapter, cellular injury and adaptation, I read from Robbins, like the entire chapter, but I could not remember it. Like I spent a lot of time reading from it and I was not able to recall. And I knew that I had to give a lot of revisions in order to remember from that book, and I did not have that much of time. So I focused on Harsh Mohan and read from that book. And I was bad at HND diagrams and remembering histological points and good at pathogenesis. So I thought I will pick up on what I was bad at later. And one must always remember that you have to always focus on what you're good at rather than trying hard and stressing yourself out and learning what you're bad at from the beginning. You can always pick what you're bad at eventually. And for exams, just 1 month before exams, during study holidays, I revised from Harsh Mohan only. I did only the RS questions. And if any of the RS4 students are watching this, I know you don't have anything like important questions to revise from. You can always use the simpler book like Ramdas Naik. And most of my friends have revised from Ramdas Naik for exams, and they tell me that it is amazing because he has exactly given you how much you have to write in the exam with important flow charts and diagrams, and he has made entire pathology look so simpler. Harsh Mohan is a little bit complex, I would tell you, and I think it is better for you to revise from Ramdas Naik before exams. And I did not revise HND diagrams before exams, just the important HND diagrams. I just looked through it because I knew that it would come for only 4 or 5 marks and I did not want to spend a lot of time on it because you know, right, we don't have a lot of time before exam. We just have one day and you have to finish like the entire book. And coming to practicals, as I said, once you have read theory, most of your work will be done. And coming to Viva, they'll always focus on classification, some important diseases, pathogenesis, and they'll ask you to they'll give you a disease and they'll ask you, they'll show your organ and they'll ask you the gross and histological features pertaining to the diseases which are concerned with it. So for practicals, you always have to know HND diagrams. You need to know to identify them. So before practicals, focus on how you will identify them. Just look at the discrete details and try to identify them. And they'll always focus on gross images, the points. So gross images, you can always get a file or PDF of all the gross images and write 2 points for each gross image, like the important identifying feature, and revise from it. I think that will make your work even more easier. And once you have revised using the points that you have made for gross, it will help you a lot in Viva also because it will cover a lot of things that they'll be asking you in Viva. Now coming to microbiology was my hardest subject. So I stuck with the simplest book possible, Baweja, throughout. And I think you can use Anant Narayan or Apurva Shastri and they are equally good, but it is a little more complicated than Baweja. But there the concepts are explained in points and one can easily remember using those books. And in microbiology, to score very high marks, what is absolutely necessary is you preparing beforehand as to how you will write your papers. Because microbiology is a vast subject and you have a lot of bacteria, fungi, parasites and viruses, and at the end you tend to get confused with each of this. So if you have prepared beforehand and if you have framed in a strategy as to how you will answer in the final exams, it will help you like anything. By strategy, I mean, now let's take bacteriology. You can always make a strategy or a chart as to how you will classify the organisms. You can always classify it into gram positive and negative, and you have to remember it first. After that, I think you can make a tabular column for the lab diagnosis, because in most of the questions in microbiology, they will be focusing on lab diagnosis. You can always write about the sample collection, the HND stain, and the special stains, any other characteristic test done for that organism, ELISA and PCR. So these are common for all the organisms. Even though you don't know anything about it, once you know if it's a gram positive and negative, you can fill in something. Like the first sample collection, you will obviously know something. HND you will know, and the end PCR and ELISA you will know. So by writing this, you will get some marks. And once you have all written the special investigation or special stains used for each organism, and if you revise from that before exam, you will easily remember it and get those extra marks. And always remember to draw HND diagram and special staining image. Even though if it is a rough diagram, it is more than enough. It will always fetch you that extra mark. And coming to viruses, always make a chart as to which are single-stranded virus, which are double-stranded virus, the symmetry and such things, and it will help you a lot for revising. Coming to parasitology, it was my hardest. You can always make a tabular column as trematodes, nematodes, and write the organisms under them. You can write their intermediate host, if they are egg-laying or not, if they are living in fresh water or not, and using those details, you can easily make a diagram in your exam. You can make a circular diagram representing all the different stages of lifestyle just using that column which you have made by yourself. And what is more important is to always write 1 or 2 drugs used for treating infection caused by those organisms. You would have studied pharmacology and you can easily put in 1 or 2 drugs because it will always fetch you that extra mark. And for practicals, as I told you, would have covered most. And staining, you need to be perfect with gram staining and other staining which will be asked, ZN staining, because it will carry like 30 marks in your final practicals. And they'll always focus on important tests done for each organisms, and they'll focus on lab diagnosis. They'll give you a random bacteria or a virus and ask if it's a DNA one, if it is an RNA, or if they'll give you a parasite and ask if it is an egg laying or not. So you need to be prepared in that regard. And if any of you from Bangalore is watching this, and if you are in second year, I'll tell you, there is this 2 days revision class by Dr. Nasir sir. He is a faculty, microbiology faculty in Bhatia. He will conduct that class just like 10 days or 1 week before your final exams, and it is such a lifesaver. He will simplify your concepts and he will tell you how you need to exactly write your microbiology paper to score well. I think if you do not have enough time for revising before exam, you can always read his notes and go. It is more than enough. I think just by reading his notes, you can easily score a distinction if you are thorough with his notes. His notes is so good. Now coming to the last subject, that is forensic medicine, and this is one subject that most of the students tend to neglect. And in RGU University, you have 2 days gap for this exam, and that is the last exam, so you don't focus on reading that at all. And I think for forensic medicine, Synopsis of Narayan Reddy is the go-to book, but I happen to read from the main Narayan Reddy and I don't know why. I think I just gave one reading for the book and I got like 78 on 100 or something. And in forensic, I'll tell you, if you give it a concentrated one reading, it is more than enough. You will remember it because everything in that book is like a story. And forensic is such an easy subject, so don't ever neglect it because you have a very high chances of scoring very good marks in forensic. And before exams, during study holidays, I did not revise it. And before exams, I used Synopsis, the Saul Singhi for revision. And Saul Singhi is amazing for reading it before exam because he has explained exactly how you need to write. He has given you flow charts and line diagrams. See, in Narayan Reddy, you don't get line diagrams. And you know that once you put flowcharts and line diagrams, your chance of scoring better marks is always on the upper hand. So read from Singhi before forensic exam because it will help you like anything while writing answers. And so many 10 markers are given in 3 to 4 pages, but once you read it, you'll be covering so many 5 markers also. So you will always be benefited by reading from Saul Singhi. And for practicals, you need to always focus on identification of bones, the gross features in the bones, the differentiating features between male and female bones, the X-ray images, and all the, in toxicology there are a lot of spotters. They'll give you so many plants and ask you to identify the toxins that it produces, etc. So you have to be very thorough with identification of the spotters in forensic medicine. And don't neglect forensic medicine because it is a very easy subject. I think with 3 or 4 days you can finish the entire book and you can easily write your exam with just one reading. Lastly, I want to talk about Viva. I did not have even a single day gap between practicals. All my practical exams were back to back. 4 days, I had 4 practicals and it just got over. So I did not get any time to revise for Viva. On the other hand, if you have gap between your practical exams and if you want to actually revise for Viva, I'll tell you, read the 3 marker questions from all the chapters, because they'll always focus on the one-liners, and when you read the 3 marker questions, you'll pretty much complete everything in each chapter. And if you have even more time, focus on important frequently asked questions from 10 marker questions from other chapter, because it will give you a rough idea of what exactly the entire chapter consists of. And the second thing is, as I already told you, always focus on what you're good at and try to become even more confident and even more thorough with what you're good at, because that will increase your chances of scoring higher. Don't stress on what you're bad at from the beginning. Always finish what you're good at, and then you can eventually follow up and do most of the things what you're bad at, or you can just pick it up as days goes or as you go further. And if any of the RS4 students are watching this, I know you don't have anything like important questions. It's okay. You read from whichever book you want to, and always focus on simpler books in each subject for revising just the day before exam or during your study holidays. And I think you have 1 or 2 clinical based questions that will be coming, and don't stress on it from the beginning. All these clinical based questions will have 1 or 2 lines in them which will actually help you in identifying what the exact answer is. So if you know the concepts as a whole, these concept based questions or clinical based questions will not trouble you at all. You will easily be able to find out what the answer is. And one more thing is that what is important before exams is not to panic at all. Sometimes some of your friends might have finished studying everything just the day before exam in half day, and they might be revising it again. Or you might be in a situation where you have finished only like 50 to 60% of the portions by the night of the study holiday that you have in between exams. What is more important is for you to not get tensed by your situation and to do very important topics from the remaining chapters. If you cover up at least the important chapters from remaining important questions from remaining chapters, that is going to be such a life saver for you. And in exams, always focus on writing neatly as much as possible. Manage your time effectively, and always give side headings, extra diagrams, or treatment part even in other subjects other than pharmacology if necessary, and flowcharts, because your paper will look more presentable and it will increase your chances of scoring higher marks in each of these subjects. And if you have something to add to this video, you can always add in the comment section below. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye.